Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. This is our match preview for Wolves v Aston Villa on Sunday at 2 o'clock. And it's a big game. It's a big game for Villa because if we win this game, we go on to 18 points, which would be absolutely huge for this stage of the season. We would be right up there. I would probably imagine that we'd be in and around the top four if we get to 18 points after 8 games, which would just be remarkable. And it would be a sign of how well we're actually doing. I'm really looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be a good game, probably be quite tight in parts, but I think we've got more than enough to beat Wolves. And I've seen more than enough of Wolves to have made my assumption of where they are and how they play and what they are all about this season. So we've already done the opposition preview and it's not out yet. It's out tomorrow. And me and Dave were talking about the derby, the rivalry. And I posed him a question about whether he thinks it is a derby and how he feels as a fan. So you'll get his thoughts tomorrow. But it ties in with how I feel like Villa fans think of this game. And in my honest opinion, I feel like Villa fans just see it as another game. They don't see it as a derby. There might be a little bit of rivalry there, but there's nothing major in it. And sort of he posed the question back to me. And he felt like Villa fans would look at the fixture list and would look at sort of when a Villa playing Wolves. And I was kind of like, no, it's not the case. Like, I don't think we're that bothered. So then I've posed my own question on Twitter to Villa fans of what they think of this game to get a greater understanding. And one thing that I would probably say is depending on your age, depends how you would view this fixture. Like if you're watching Villa in the 70s and the 80s and in 81 when we won the league and the whole league was made up of local derbies, then you probably will feel like that this is a Stonewall derby. But for some fans, 90s vibe, where were Wolves? Weren't really in the Premier League, were they? Only until like the 2000s when they're kept like bobbing around and they're back, then they're not. And same as West Brom. So I've posed it and we'll get the thoughts now of Villa fans of what they're saying. So James is saying, means more in recent years, but they have been irrelevant for such a long time. It's hard to care too much. JD have said, have a few mates that are Wolves. We have a woeful record. They hate us. However, same level as Leeds. Game for me in recent times. Always want to beat them. Nothing to do with region, really. Craig has put, I think it's means more to them than it does to us. I would probably agree. JSAVFC, nothing. I don't care about Wolves. I don't see it as a derby. Wayne, nothing really. Just another Prem game. Retro Villa, no different from when we play Leicester or Stoke. Huge difference when we play Blues, obviously Baggies and Coventry. When Villa rolls into town, smaller Midlands clubs always get excited. Mickey D, just another game. Dan, not much, just another game. Singers put right below Blues, Albion, Cov and Walsall. Angle of Death has put it's a clash that's going to go down in history of one of many football matches just happening this weekend. Tony, just another game. Hopefully that's not the Tony. Wayne, not a derby. And Monso has put, well, my dad is a lifelong Wolves supporter and I'm a lifelong Villa. It's kind of a big deal. So there we have it. There are the thoughts going into this game. So I think we should have enough to beat Wolves. What do I think of Wolves this season? I think they were massively under pressure going into the season with Lopetegui leaving. Kind of what happened with us and O'Neill, really. I know that probably in this moment in time, they weren't having that level of success that we were having. But, whenever you lose a manager a couple of days before a season and then a new manager comes in and Pre-season's important to instill all of your core principles for the season. It was a massive blow, but they were fantastic against Manchester United opening game. Man United aren't great this season, so yeah, they played well. They played well against Liverpool first half and lost. They played. They won against Everton, and they were very, very poor against Everton. They were poor against Luton. They were poor against Brighton, and they were decent against Man City and won 2-1. So for me, when I look at Wolves, I look at when they're playing against the bigger and the better teams, Man City, Man United, who's the other one? Liverpool. And they have to sort of sit in a low block. They know what they're going to have to do. They know they're going to have to sit in and defend well, and they're going to have to catch teams on the break. They're quite comfortable doing that. They're quite comfortable playing that way, and that has shown in the performances that they've had. They were good against Man City doing it. They defended for their lives. They were a little bit more expressive against Liverpool first half, and then when Liverpool came into it second half, it was just one-way traffic. So I think when they've got to defend and they know the task in hand, then they're quite decent. But when they've got to be progressive and show their style of play and show what they're all about against teams that they should be kind of picking up points, their style of play doesn't come to fruition. And I just think they lack ideas going forward when it's not just counter-attacking football. And I think when they've got to open themselves up a little bit, when they're playing against teams like Luton, Everton, Brighton maybe, then there's gaps, there's space, their shape doesn't look as good, then it's not as compact, they're not as organised. And I think they kind of have problems, and I think that's the tale of their season, really. So when Villa are coming to town on Sunday, what do? Do they sit in, camp in, sit with a mid to low block, look to sit and hit us on the break, or do they try and be a little bit more expansive, a little bit more open? So I think that's where they're kind of stuck, and they're kind of stuck in that way because their manager's sort of not learning on the job, but he's sort of having to instill principles as they go. Like, where are we after this game? Okay, we've beat Man City. We've played with 5 at the back. How are we going to express ourselves against Villa? And it's like they're stuck between two styles, and I think that's where they are this season. So I do think they're probably going to be in and around 15th, 16th all season for that simple factor as well. So if we have a little look now then at sort of the tale of the season for both sides really then. So this is a great stat for Aston Villa. Most wins in 2023, Man City 23, and Aston Villa are sitting on 18, which is absolutely incredible. Head-to-head in the Premier League era, 16 games played, 6 wins for Wolves, 5 for Villa, 5 draws. They've got 3 home wins, and we've got 4 away wins, which is probably higher than what I expected, to be fair. Recent history, it's a bit mixed. We don't really get the better of it. So, yeah, it's looking not too great there. 2-1, 1-1, 1-0 to Wolves. Last season, we played all right at the Molineux. Form guide for Aston Villa is looking quite good. 4 wins in 5. And Wolves have 2 wins and a draw. So you can see there as well, Palace. They didn't play great against Palace. They were very poor against Everton. The man sent off against Luton. This season, then they're 15th. We're 5th. We've got 5 wins, 2 losses. We're averaging 2.6 goals per game, which is fantastic, and 1.6 conceded. They're conceding 1.9 and scoring just 1.1. This was their team against Man City. 5 at the back. Semedo, Kilman, Dawson, Totti Gomez and Ait-Nouri. 2 in the middle of João Gomez and Lamina. Pedro Neto, Cunha and Hwang. And we'll talk about their forward line in a second. Here you can see their average positions from this game. So they really lack a focal point in a striker. Predominantly, they're going down the right-hand side with Kilman, Semedo. Semedo, Neto, quite strong on that right-hand side. And they just lack midfield bite. And you can tell that with Mateus Nunes and with what's his name who left? In the middle, what's his name? Neves left. That they're really lacking that bite in central midfield. So, yeah, I just think it's a bit bitty. It's a bit bitty from Wolves. And you'll get what I mean when I'm saying bitty in a second. This was their average positions against Man City. So, very rarely out of their own half. You can see Pedro Neto, number 7, sort of offering that most of a potent threat. And then you've got Man City's passing network against Wolves. They predominantly went down that right-hand side. But again, their focal point, balls into Haaland, wasn't really there. A little bit scrappy from them. They're not really finding their form in central midfield at the minute with Rodri and De Bruyne out either. So, yeah, Man City not really firing on all cylinders at the minute either. So you can kind of see that from their performance in this game. The shot map with XG, Man City in the blue, Wolves are the yellow, orange, gold, whatever they want to call them. And then you've got the XG by the minute. So it was utter domination from Man City, the expected threat, utter domination from Man City as well. So you can see there from the graphics that it's a bit bitty, it's a bit scrappy on both parts. So let's have a look then at the lineups of what potentially Wolves can do against Man City. They went with a back 5. Are they going to go with a back 5 against Villa with Bellegarde out? He got a red card against Luton. He was sort of playing in this role here. So they were going with a 4-2-3-1 vibe with Bellegarde in there, but he got a red card. So they've gone to a 5 at the back. So depending on what they do, I would imagine that they're going to want to sort of stifle Villa, really. So what are we going to expect from Wolves then? So for me, they're playing stages, Wolves. They're playing 2 stages is how I would describe when I'm watching Wolves. They are playing with a first stage of everybody below this line. So they're playing with the back 4, 5, with Gomez, Lamina, with mid blocks, with low blocks. And then they've really got this sort of next phase of Hwang, Neto, and Cunha, who are looking to offer the threat on a counter. So in isolation, defending against these should be okay, really, because they're not going to commit too many bodies in and around those areas unless they're going to offer some more threat out wide through here. So I think as long as Villa can stop the ball into these front 3 in transition quickly, then we should get some joy, especially in this game. We've really got to watch out for Luca Dean being isolated against Neto. That ball in behind to Neto is something that we've really got to watch out for. It feels like with Wolves at the minute that it's sort of the Neto show. Cunha really can't finish his dinner at the minute, so that's going to be a bit of a problem all season for them. He's busy sort of in transition when sort of if Villa are pushing forward and we've got our shape going forward, then in these type of areas where they're nicking the ball up a little bit higher up the pitch and then they're breaking, there's a little bit of a threat through these type of runs. Like I say, it's this front 3 that we've just really got to be mindful of. With Kamara in there, hopefully, he can offer that defensive screening so he can offer that protection. We've really just got to watch Neto in behind Luca Dean. We know that's been a semi sort of problem so far this season. But if we defend these 3 players well, then for me, we win the game. So in transition, we've just got to be careful. We've also got to be careful of this as well. So when we are defending in these type of areas, if Neto's got into that space there, we've really got to watch this Huang run on the back post. That run there on the back post is something that he's really looking to get on the end of. He scored. He's in form at the minute. I think he scored. Is it 5 goals so far this season? So Huang's in form. So we've got to watch out for him as well. So those are the types of areas that I think we've really got to watch out for with Wolves. But against Wolves, if I'm looking at where I'm expecting Villa to have quite a bit of joy in this game as well. You're looking for Ollie Watkins to be stretching Kilman and Dawson, for Diaby to be doing the same, McGinn to be picking up the balls, looking for those slide-through balls. But if there's one player who, in my head so far, when I'm thinking about this game, who I think is going to win it for Villa, I think we're going to see a Zaniolo winner. That is going to be my tip for this game. It's going to be a Zaniolo winner. So let's have a look at the players that we've got to watch out for in context as well. So as you can see here, Pedro Neto in acres of space. You've got Semedo on the overlap. You've got Cunha occupying the centre halves. You've also got Huang, who looks to get into that area as well. We cannot allow this amount of time for Pedro Neto on the ball. He turns, he picks it up. He's got the whole of Molineux to just pick a pass, and we've just got to watch out for those types of passes. Again, we have got to watch out for Pedro Neto in behind the defence. That is something that we've really got to watch out for. Again, like I showed you earlier, the slides, the Huang run at the back post. You've got Cunha coming to support as well. So the big thing for me is we cannot have Pedro Neto this side of Luca Dean. And then we've got another image, an aerial image again, sort of looking up at their shape. Like I mentioned when I said you've got sort of the back shape here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players for Wolves that are below that line. And then in front of the line, we've got an extra player here that's coming from midfield, I think, here. But you've got Neto, who's busting a gut down there. That's the image that I showed you earlier. You've got Huang on that back post, and you've got Cunha coming in. So in transition, when Wolves break, they don't commit loads of bodies forward. They leave quite a lot of bodies back. But you've just got to defend this better and sort of just usher him out. Stop them allowing to have that break on that transition. And if you can do that, then I think we'll be fine. We'll be more than okay. And then again against Luton, I think they were down to 10 men at this point. Wolves, I think they were when they scored. This was the Pedro Neto goal. And again, like what I'm saying, everything's going through Neto. He does so well to score from there. But Neto should not be scoring from there, basically. There's no Wolves runner in this screen grab whatsoever. Oh, we got one here. But, that should be defended so much better from Luton. So, yeah, they're very rarely committing too many bodies forward. So, yeah, I think it's one of them games where if we do our job well, then we should win this game, really. And I'm just looking forward to it. Hopefully we have that sort of little bit of an added intensity about us, which is what I think we're going to need in this game. I think we got more than enough. I think we got more than enough for them. So I'm just going to log into the score predictions now, and I'm going to do the score predictions for us. Put your score predictions in the comment section down below for this game as well. So I had a bad week on this. Bad week. I'm dropping down the leaderboard on our score predictions. So cancel that one. Load up this one. Right, we'll fly through these. Predicted lineup for me is just with the injuries. I think Kamara and Diaby should be okay. And then I think we'll go with the same team that beat Brighton. So, leaderboard time. We have got myself in 7th on 64. And we've got Gert Dunleavy on 69. So it's pretty close. Let's name and shame the bottom. Sanj is at the bottom. So we've got how many's playing now? There's a couple of loads are on that same point. So I think there must be about 450 playing at the minute. Right. So predictions then. Spurs 3-0. Burnley, Chelsea. I think that might be close. We'll go 1-1. Everton, Bournemouth. Both teams need a win here. We'll go Everton 1. Bournemouth will score in this, I think. We'll go 1-1. Fulham, Sheffield. I mean, how'd you predict that? I'll go 1-0 Sheffield United. United, Brentford. I've tipped Brentford to be quite poor this season, and they are. United up and down. You probably go United winning that, I think. And then Palace, Forest will go 1-1. So let's have a look on Sunday's fixtures. We have got Brighton, Liverpool. That's a tight one as well. Brighton need to bounce back. Liverpool, after the fiasco last week, I'm going to go 2-2. I'm going to go West Ham. I'm going to go West Ham 2-0 against Newcastle. I'm going to go Villa 2-1. And Man City, Arsenal. I'm going to go Arsenal. 2-1. So those are my predictions. Have we got Monday Night Football? No. There's no Monday Night Football, so we've only got to do 2. Have we got Friday Night Football? No Friday Night Football either. Cool. Right. There we go. I think I've covered everything. I'm going for a 2-1 Villa win. If we can get to 18 points, it would be remarkable at this stage of the season. It's going to be a tough game. It always is. They bring it, don't they? They bring their atmosphere for this game. But Villa just got to go about our business as we always do. We've got a plan. We'll have a vibe. We'll just execute the plan and we'll beat them. Mind the gap. There we go. Up the Villa.